Foremost, thank you very much to UNCTAD and Energy Pact for inviting us here on this very important topic. I assumed that at this stage we would have heard a lot about energy and about technology. So therefore I want to talk about a slightly different aspect of the green economy, namely nature. I don't want to talk about nature as something that is suffering, which we hear about very often, but rather as nature, as something that can offer some of the solutions in the transition to the green economy. We see the green economy as a very good entry point, as previous speakers have said, into sustainable development. It is now 30 years that we have been talking about sustainable development and its three pillars of economics, environment and social. But if we are honest with ourselves, we have not achieved sustainable development, except in a few cases, but overall we have not. So if green economy can be a good entry point into actually finally making sustainable development feasible, then I think we are heading in the right direction. Now, green economy implies investment in natural infrastructure, investment in biodiversity. Biodiversity is necessary for our food, for our health, we all know it. It requires investments in forests, in mangroves that we consider a natural infrastructure essential for economic development. Green economy also implies valuing the ecosystems much better than we have done in the past, and actually ensuring that the values of ecosystem services are being integrated into the way we are talking about economic development and sustainable development. And thirdly, very importantly, green economy implies nature-based solutions to climate change, to food security, to disasters. Now, what is a nature-based solution? That is when we can manage to use REDD for mitigation. That means rainforest, reducing the reduction of rainforest, when we can use that as mitigation, and when we can make ecosystem-based adaptation to climate change. These are nature-based solutions where we simply use the capacities that nature have to establish, to solve some of our global challenges, and do it in a way where we are using nature but not misusing nature. We can use the regulating capacity of ecosystem services when it comes to water filtration, when it comes to carbon and nutrient cycling, when it comes to storm mitigation. There are a whole range of issues that apply to all countries in the world. Now, when we particularly today focus on the emerging economies, we are looking very often at the opportunities that they give us in terms of technology and in terms of innovation, as we've heard from Brazil and other cases. I was in rural India last week, and when you are among the landless people in semi-arid areas of rural India, then at least I personally get very angry when I hear people saying, no, we cannot afford growth and we cannot afford increased income. It is essential that the poorest 1 to 2 billion people in the world are still allowed to actually use water, to use land, to get access to some of the basic resources. They are not the ones who are creating our unsustainable development, and they will not be, even if we manage to give them access to water, electricity, land, and so on. So we have to be quite clear that it is the middle class above the 2 billion poorest people. They are the ones, we are the ones who are creating the unsustainable consumption and production patterns in the world, whether we live in the north or the south or wherever we live. Building resilient and sustainable green economy, therefore, to a large extent, has to be bottom-up. It has to empower those people who are living off natural resources and who have a possibility to manage natural resources in a way that give them also economic development opportunities. This is a green economy that combines poverty consideration, social considerations with economic development and environmental. That's the true sustainable development if we manage to do it like this. We have already had some very good studies. TEEP is one example, the economics of ecosystem services and biodiversity. The World Bank is leading an initiative called WAVES, which is Wealth Accounting and Valuation of Ecosystem Services. Now, these are essential efforts that we really get into understanding how do we value ecosystems and make sure that we take them into consideration in our development plans. But they are so not only for us to come out and say, oh, nature has a big value, we have to remember that. That is not enough. They are useful instruments if we manage to actually use them to say, this means that we therefore can invest in ecosystems, invest in nature-based services that actually give us a development that brings us forward, that reduces poverty, and that leads to the green economy. So that's the purpose of these studies, not just to get a number on the value of nature. Therefore, my conclusions are that when we are talking about green economy, we should use it as an entry point to sustainable development. We should soon start talking about what happens after 2015, the Millennium Development Goals. We do not have a very good goal on sustainable development. We think it is high time that we actually get one, which can bring together the communities that are working on development, the communities that are working on biodiversity, the communities that are working on nature-based solutions. We need to get these communities together and actually get some clear goals. Hopefully, we know that our Brazilian colleagues will manage to will put it on the agenda in Rio next year as a first step towards such a goal. And allow me, Mr. Chair, just briefly to say to Professor Valadão, I was very happy with the God story in Brazil, and also the fact that you in the end remembered that you're not entirely there yet when it comes to the rainforest. Right now, in these very days, the parliament in Brazil is adopting a new forest code, which is a disaster for the rainforest in Brazil. It's a huge setback. It allows landowners to cut down trees on their farms that they have not been allowed to cut down in the past. This is a serious setback for Brazil as a leader ahead of Rio +20. So this is not to correct what you were saying, because you said it also, but this is to encourage all of us to try to influence Brazil so they stop that real setback when it comes to the forest code that is being adopted right now in Parliament in these very days. And the last conclusion I would therefore have is, let's work on nature-based solutions to climate change, whether it's adaptation, mitigation, to food security, and to green economy. We do believe in IUCN that nature should not be looked at as the one that is suffering, but should rather be looked at as the one who offers part of the solutions to some of the global challenges. We do not say that nature offers all of the solutions, not at all, but we do think that it offers part of the solutions which are very economical and build resilience at the same time as they point in the direction of economic development. Thank you.